Jai Shri Krishna. Welcome to today's program, How to Attain Eternal Happiness, Anandam through Koshas. I don't know why my system is. And pranam to Guruji, Hariharji Maharaj. With your blessing, we are all gathered here together. And we have been doing it for several months. And blessing of your and with your guidance, Path to Anandam was founded. So I'm Satya Kalra, the founder of Path to Anandam. We guide, we help wherever is needed with our capabilities and give pravachans or give the lectures, many organizations, depending on the organization. Our lectures are tailored accordingly. And all these books, I again do my pranam to Guruji, Hariharji Maharaj, who asked me to write the books, who initiated me to write the books. So thank you very much, Swamiji. So today's program, experience Anandam through Koshas. We will discuss what is Anandam, who we are truly. What are Koshas? Ultimate path to Anandam. Our experiences, meditation, and action with the tips. And we will start our prayers as Arjuna did, to ask his guidance. So we seek his guidance with our humble prayers. Karpanye dosho pahat swabhava paschami tvam dharma samuvicheta yachse ani nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyaste aham chadimam tvam prapanyam. My heart is overpowered by weakness, confusions, pity, and I have lost all of my composure. I cannot think straight. My mind is unstable. And I request you humbly, as I am your devotee, please guide me, help me. How should I move forward in my life? Thank you, thank you, thank you for guiding me. And here, as Arjuna was confused due to his fear, attachments, which Hariharji Maharaj always says, minus and I-ness, mera or tera. But he asked for Lord Krishna's guidance. And he was guided, where he could say, Nashto moha smriti labdha, tat prasadan maya yod, sthito asmin gat samdeha, karishye vachanam ta. Finally, he understood the purpose of his life, his dharma, his kartavya, his duty, with Gita's teachings, with Lord Krishna's teachings. Similarly, we are asking him to guide us so we can perform our duties and fulfill our responsibilities. Since today's subject is Anandam through Koshas, what is Anandam? What is true bliss? Eternal happiness, not the happiness which is a yo-yo game, kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. This is always khushi, you always feel eternally happy and not affected by the external factors, financial situations, relationships, health, environmental situations like coronavirus, it is affecting everybody's life, etc. Do we get affected like there is a rain, and if we have an umbrella, we have a raincoat, we of course get a little bit water here and there, sprinkles around us, but we are not drowned in it. Similarly, with teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we are not drowned. And Anandam is actually a part, that's what who we are. That is in our every cell of our body, every gene, every DNA, every particles in our body is made with Anandam, Sat Chit Ananda, and that's what who we are. So our true nature is Anandam, love, peace, and we are divine. And that's why Vivekananda ji always said, every human being has a potential to be divine. In other words, experience the true divinity, 100% divinity like Vivekananda ji, because we are Satchit Ananda. So what are Koshas? Koshas are the consciousness, the soul, which is capsulated in these 5 layers. These are called the 5 layers. Koshas means is a Sanskrit word, so it means layers. These are the 5 layers. Once we understand this, we will understand the whole Gita within minutes. So understanding Kosha is so powerful, gives us so much wisdom and relates to it, because we are all made with these 5 koshas. Very first kosha, or very first layer, which is called Anmaya kosha, which is body, senses, all related to it. What we eat, whatever we take care of the body, this all comes under the Anmaya kosha. And it's very important to take care of our body, because without that shield, this is the outer shield in our body, the Anmaya kosha with senses. If that has problem, going inside will be difficult. In other words, moving further to experience Anandam will be very difficult. So our body has to be very healthy. Second one is Pranayama kosha. And when it says Pranayama kosha, it does not mean just the breathing, the energy. So Pranayama is a combination of breath and the energy which flows in our body. And this is a source of vital energy. And chakras, I have spoken about the chakras previously many times. And you can actually look at my many videos about chakras, including chakra dances on YouTube. They are the invisible source of energy. When we feel weak physically, means our chakras are blocked. So it's very important to keep our chakras very energized and very active. And they intermingle. Basically, the breath, the vital energy which comes from chakras, and the energy flow, what we feel, that is the second chakra. Very important chakra and very important shield layer. Next one is Manmaya Kosha, which is the third layer, which is the mental shield, which is also called the psycho-emotional shield, where we carry all of our emotions. And the next one is Vijnanmaya Kosha, wisdom kosha, intellectual kosha, which is responsible for the ego and intelligence. And that's where it's a buddhi yoga, and that's where the two elements are in that one. Ego, which draws us down, I-ness, my-ness, mera, I need name and fame, etc. At the other hand, Vijnanmaya discrimination, that these are all, we have to convert our ego into self-esteem. And I can do it. The power comes to us. I can do it because I'm connected to Supreme Power. And then once these are all aligned, then we can feel the Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss state, the supreme bliss state, which Gita talks in chapter 2, very last verse 72. Vihaya Kaman Sarvan Manogatan. It's just once one gets to that stage, then Antikale api, even the Antikal comes very peaceful. So it's not that we live peacefully, we die peacefully. And when we live peacefully, we are going to die peacefully. So key is to live peacefully, then we can die peacefully. And Anandamaya, to reach to that kosha. And the nice analogy here is the onions. Onion have many layers, but the inside one, the very inside, is so sweet. Though when you cut the onions and all that, you get tears in your eyes because there's a lot of chemicals which burn the eyes. But inside is so sweet. Similarly, though we are shielded with so many layers, when we learn that technique and reach to the inner part of our true being, who we are truly, that Anandamai, that's where the true Anandam one experience. So the very first Anmaya Kosha is also known as a gross body. And to me, why it is a gross body, let me tell you why. This is to come to me. I feel like what do cow produces? Milk. Every part of cow is beneficiary, even her urine. And what human body produces? Think about it. I think we are a factory of producing the urine and all the garbage. So stool and producing a stool and urine, to me, it looks like that's why it is called gross body, because that's what we do. And then the next one, Manmaya Kosha, subtle body, because our subconscious mind has all the memories. That's why many things we do automatically, auto responses. And our life's remote control is in our subconscious mind. We behave, we talk many times based on what is in our subconscious mind. Even though, for example, somebody might say something nice to us or something, even a tiny bit somebody tells us something, but we react to it. Why? because there is some memory which is connected to that, and that brings our old behavior, the old programming of our mind. So that's why it is called subtle body. And then the last one, it comes casual body, very relaxed body, who we are really true being. And here you can see this in different colors right here. You know, these are the color of the chakras. So we'll go to. So here you can see it again, how I just summarize it here, these 5 psychic layers, how the person is, it represents the 5 koshas and how it relates with the chakras. So here are the chakras in the body. Here are the 5 layers. So here is the Muladhara chakra and Swadhisthana chakra. All these chakras, all the way up to the crown chakras, are related to our koshas. And actually in Ayurveda, there is so much attention has been paid to koshas and chakras. And it comes from Atharva Veda. And koshas are actually, they are from Upanishads. And chakras are also in Upanishads, but Ayurveda, in Atharva Veda. And when I went to Ayurvedic college, hospitals, and for my treatments, I end up teaching to medical college in Ayurveda about the chakras over there. And I did many lectures, and it was based, that's where they asked me to write a book about it, because this is the presentation, they liked it, but they want to have it in the form of book. So relationship, here you can see the relationship of body, mind, and soul, which Gita talks about in verse 3, chapter 342, where it says, Indriyani Purihani Indriyabhya Param Man Manastasya Para Buddhi Buddhe Parastatusa. The senses are said to be higher than the body, because body performs whatever the senses perform. In other words, body is a cluster of senses, but it is directed by mind. So the next mind thoughts, which is next to the senses. And intellect is above that, discrimination. And then the spirit, the supreme power. So the supreme power gives the guidance to the buddhi, intelligent, what to do, what not to do. But if buddhi is, intellect is more controlled, or I would say has a lot of, is strengthened by spiritual practices, then it will listen to spirit, the supreme soul voice. But if spiritual practices are not strengthening the buddhi, then it is affected more on the mind. And then, of course, mind is a master of senses. Senses are slave of mind. So they perform according to whatever the mind guides it, whatever is in the subconscious mind, because mind also has a conscious, it is called conscious mind, subconscious mind, and supreme conscious mind. And the conscious mind is like what we are talking about right now. We are in present, whatever you are hearing, whatever I'm speaking, that's my conscious mind is working. But what I'm speaking right now, presentation is only a small part of it, but my thoughts are coming from that is in my subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind is filled with Gita's teachings. So it automatically pours. And when it is there, anything happens in life, immediately the Lord Krishna's message or Gita's message comes. No, that's okay. And the verse comes. Why? Because the supreme power is right there. It giving us the messages all the time. And if the buddhi is connected, then it will guide the mind. It's okay. Then heart and everything comes. So it's such a strong relationship here with Gita and Koshas. And you can see the colors of the Koshas, all these different layers. But then the question comes, our true nature is happiness, eternal being, then why can't we experience it? What's the problem? And here, Gita says that, and Upanishad says that when the Anandamaya Kosha, the food layer, the very first layer of the body, and the senses, like when our speech is not good, when our thoughts are not good, and when we are thinking negatively and eating negative food with negative energy, then our emotions are disturbed. In other words, our Anmaya Kosha is disturbed. We get sick, our body, we have heartburns, all kind of problems, and we are very unhappy because we are not well. Then the next one comes to this Manmaya Kosha. And actually with Anmaya Kosha, our energy with our breath, when we have a negative thoughts, our breath is affected, our energy is affected, our prana is affected. And then of course, our mind is affected. We are emotionally disturbed. And our discrimination power is diluted. We cannot think properly. When we are angry, we cannot think properly. Our discrimination power, our memory is gone that we are Satchitananda because we are feeling so angry, so upset. How could we feel the Anandam at that time? And what happens? We could not hear the voice of this Anandam, this soul, this spirit, that supreme power. So all this negativity creates and blocks these layers, and it creates the dark layers here. So layers are blocked. One is disconnected and can not receive the guidance from the supreme consciousness. That's why when we are angry, we cannot hear supreme powers. But when we are calm, we are shant, all of a sudden our inner voice talks to us. And if we cannot find something, like if I forget where I put my keys or certain things, all of a sudden I remember, especially when we take shower, washing dishes, when we are totally focused, then all of a sudden that message comes. So all the messages, all the communication, the experience of Satchit Ananda is there. But with all these negative behaviors, negative actions, it gets tarnished and we cannot think and experience Anandam. Because even Anandam Kosha is blocked. And this is how we look like. You can see it. How angry, how upset we are. And in Gita says beautifully, our mind is our enemy or our friend. So what we feed our mind, that's we become. And it says, Udher Atma Atmanevna Atmanev Vasade. Atmev hi Atno Bandur. Atmev Ripur Atma. Atmev our Bandhu, it's our friend. And Ripur, Dushman, our enemy. But Bandur Atmana Atmanes, Jen Atmev Atma Jit. Mind is that person's friend. Whoever has a control on his mind, in other words, who is the master of the mind. But the person who has given the remote control of our mind to our senses, for that person, the mind is enemy. In other words, we have to take in charge of our thoughts. And how those thoughts will come? Atnev Atna Jit. How can we win? By connecting with Supreme Power, with our higher self, with our conscious mind. So how to become healthy, happy, and peaceful? How to have a control of our mind, make mind our friend. It's a self-discipline and self-transformation. Chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita chapter is Dhyan Yoga is all about self-disciplining the mind. So in other words, we have to reprogram our mind and make our mind friend, not enemy. And for that, I always call it triple A's approach: self-awareness, self-analysis, and self-action. So how to reprogram our mind, make our mind friend? We should little bit understand about the function of our brain. Mind is where we cannot see it, we just feel it, but the brain is, the doctor can see the brain. We can feel the brain in our mind. And brain has that physiology of the body, the left lobe and right lobe and all that's there. And left brain is more a logical mind, which is I-ness, minus, mera, tera, main, and all the logical things like engineering, studying the engineering, the counting, numbers, all these number related things, more is all the left brain function. But the right brain function more like heart, more art oriented. This is where it shows beautifully what do the right brain people are more relaxed, they are more in the music, they are more in the yogas, they are more on the spiritual practices. And here left brain, you can see all the techies are sitting with the computers and all that, they're all left brain. And one of the things which is always comes to me, that at one time, Bulle Shah, who was a saint in Punjab area, he was gardening, and somebody asked him the same question: how could I feel the Anandam? How could I experience it? Why am I so pareshan? And I want to be content and happy like you, so peaceful. And Bulle Shah says, because he was gardening, so he just says, you don't have to do anything. Just itho putna te ithe lagana. Means अपने माइंड के थॉट्स को यहाँ से खत्म करो और यहाँ पर अच्छे माइंड की जगह पर आ जाओ, अच्छे थॉट्स पैदा करो. So इत्थो पुटना ते इत्थे लगाना. He says it's so simple. And later on I read about him that person also become like him because he followed his advice. And Bhagavad Gita, of course, I live with these 7 steps, this triple A: analysis, awareness that who we are, what are our issues, and then do the analysis, where these are coming from, and then put the third A, action for correction. And what are the action for correction here? Step by step. Set the goals, I want to be happy. And with the body, we should do the karma yoga. With the mind, we should do the knowledge, wisdom, more study of the scriptures, meditation. So very first step, just for 1 minute, I'd like you to close your eyes and just think about it. Where are you? Where am I? What are the issues that are facing me right now? What are the issues that are taking the smile away from me? Just think about it. and you will notice your face is kind of losing your calmness. If you have some issues, if you don't have issues, wonderful. But anytime we think about something which is not registering to our system and have fear, have worries about it. And Gita says, too many expectations and we are slave of it, too many desires. So develop the self-awareness and ask the question, do I have any physical limitations? And if I do, am I taking proper care, going to the doctors? My thoughts, is something bothering me from the past, worries? How am I behaving? Because our feelings affect our behavior. If we are worried and we are concerned and stressed, sometimes the things start falling from our hands. So we have to pay attention to it. How we speak, what kind of people we mingle with, and awareness of our family issues, ourselves, just, our nations. We should live in the awareness and be aware of it. And Lord Krishna says again in Bhagavad Gita, Karmani chak karmya pashet, karmani chak karmya. Means see action in action and in action in action. And the one who sees that can truly experience true nature, Anandam, because they have so much faith in divine play that whatever is happening is God will. At the same time, we must contribute. And Ma Shuche, we should not worry about it, but also follow the Karmanya Vadika Raste, Ma Phaleshu Kadachan, Ma Karma Phalhetu Bhuma, Ma Te Sango Astu Karmani. Then we should do everything, but we should not be attached to it, and we should not be lazy as well. We should do more than 100% of our efforts. And once we do that, we should make sure that ask the question, am I doing it for name and fame? Am I doing it for, is there any my attachment, my desires? Am I doing it? What am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Is that taking me to more peaceful life? And if answer is yes, then we should proceed, because that is our dharma. That is righteousness. That's where Lord Krishna advises. So how can we strengthen each koshas, each layer? And here is again is the summary of it. It says, do spiritual practices and attain Anandam. Because as in Gita, it says, knowing the self to be superior, as I had shown the slide before, since self means super consciousness is superior than intellect, mind, and senses, then one can listen to and strengthen the buddhi and mind, reprogram the mind with spiritual practices to experience the true Ananda. So with Anandamay Kosha, which is related to the body and food, and the problem there is our impurity lifestyle, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy food, etc. So we should eat sattvic food, do selfless service, which we talk about karma yoga. Then we can have a healthy body, because yoga comes in that part of it. And then the next one comes to Pranayama Kosha. And that Pranayama Kosha means the breath. Breath and the mind has so much connection to it. And the energy, whatever our thoughts are, breath is affected. How we breathe, our thoughts are affected. So meditation, positive affirmations, scripture, reading scriptures, etc., will give us more peace and strengthen our mind and pranic energy. Then, when we are calm, our buddhi is more connected to the supreme power. We can discriminate more. And then we can experience the Anandamaya Kosha. But if we are not aligned with all these koshas, then no peace in life. And here again, Om mantra, meditation, Om iti aksharam brahma, Vyavaran mamu smarnam, bring in the behavior, then kale punarjanmana vidyate. Not antakale, but prior to that ya yati paramam gati. Every moment we can live in peace and experience Satchit Ananda. So different level of mind, as I said, mind has a different level. Again, I'm summarizing it here. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, and supreme conscious mind. We need to do for the conscious level or the first layer, Anmaya Kosha. We have to speak good, we have to do karma yoga, we have to do bhakti yoga. All these practices are summarized here again. But ultimately, we have to be sthit prajna, balanced, samta. So, how to unveil the Satchit Anandam? And I put this one here. Manne mana man. This is a beautiful verse again from chapter 12, 18. Mayeva man adatsu, may buddhi nivesha, nivsasti mamev at udhyamna sankhya. Whoever puts me in his consciousness, in mind, in heart, in intellect, every activity, sattvic lifestyle, then they are always living in my consciousness. And once you live in my consciousness, I call it gungat ke pat kholo tujhe piya milenge. So we open our conscious level, and then we can experience that piya. Who is our piya? Our piya is our supreme power. So how can we practice it? Again, every day. Have our schedule, whatever activities suit to our system, we should strengthen our spirituality part of life, our subconscious mind, our conscious mind, and do a lot of spiritual practices. It's not just like that we have done one thing and that's done. Reading Gita is good, but unless we practice it, everything is practice, practice, practice. Lord Krishna says, Abhyase, Abhyase, Abhyase in chapter 12. He says so many times, and also other times he says, if you cannot do this, do this. If you cannot, but live in my consciousness, whatever suits you. Then we can have a healthy body, healthy mind, and connection with supreme power. And then look at those dark layers, they become golden, healthy, peaceful, and experience the Anandam. So to me, going through these koshas, going through this energizing the chakras, reading Bhagavad Gita, all that is path to Ananda. But this is really, you can see how much is a direct relationship. This is path to Ananda. So take care of your body, have a sattvic lifestyle, meditation, take remote control of your mind in your hand, be the master of your mind, make your mind your friend, then Pranayama Kosha will be taken care of it. The Jnanmaya Kosha will be taken care of it. we will get the wisdom, we'll be more connected to Supreme Power and experience. I am Satchitananda. I am no different than Lord Krishna. I'm no different than Satchitananda. I am Satchitananda. So we should take the sankalpa that live in Anandam consciousness every moment of our life. Why? Because this is a slow process. This is not at fast. Shanai Shanai Uttar Med. We just read it in the previous one. Shanai Shanai Uttar Med. Buddhya Buddhi Grahita. Gradually by gradually, Shanai Shanai, our buddhi gets filled with this positiveness. Our mind gets filled with affirmations, with positiveness. Our attitude changes and we become more positive and more peaceful. I just want to make one correction here. When we say positive, why I say positive means many times we are in negative mind frame. So that's why I talk about positive. But by doing positive, we will come to the middle, neutral, sthit pragya, balance. Because only positiveness will not work in our life because our mind is left brain, left mind, right brain. And again with the chakras, Idla and Pingla, left and right side of the nerves, they all have to come in the center, which is represented in the chakras in form of Sushumna Nadi, where in Gita it says Sthit Pragya. So we have to come to the middle level where we can actually experience. So we should live in Anandam consciousness, practice Anandam and goodness. And when I say goodness, means we should see that goodness and Anandam. We feel we should put extra effort in thinking. So Anandam in thinking, no complaints, no negative thoughts. Anandam in eating, speaking, listening, working, seeing, sleeping, all the time. Just think about it, smile. कहते हैं ना मस्ती में जियो. Anandam attitude. Anandam in every activity. So change the pattern of our life by smiling, smiling, smiling. So smile, smile, smile. Why? Because my true nature is Satchit Ananda. Anger is not my true nature. Hatred is not my true nature. Resentment is not my true nature. My true nature is Satchit Ananda. Jealousy, rejection, restlessness is not my true nature. My true nature is Satchit Ananda. Laziness, sickness is not my true nature. It comes and goes. My true nature is Satchit Ananda. So I am not sick. I am not lazy. I am not मूर्ख. हमारे गुरु जी कहते थे वो ओम जय जगदीश्वर की आरती में आता है ना, मैं मूर्ख कल कामी. हरिहर जी महाराज से अपने आप को कभी मूर्ख मत कहना, अपने आप को कहना मैं भगवान का बंदा हूँ. God has not created us मूर्ख. Why would he waste his time? And when we call ourselves मूर्ख, means we are disgracing God's blessing. So from now on, we should not label ourselves that I am lazy, I am sick, I am boring, I am lifeless, I am stupid, because God has made me a beautiful human being. That human being is Satchit Ananda. So thank you very much for being a part of this eternal happiness, Anandam through Koshas, how we can experience ultimate Anandam with Bhagavad Gita, with Koshas, with Chakras, because anywhere we go, In other words, any spiritual practice we do, bhajan, kirtan, going to gurdwaras, going to mandirs, whatever, if our mind is set, then we can experience Satchit Ananda. So thank you very much for attending these sessions. And now we will focus on the meditation. We will observe ourselves that I am Satchit Ananda.